do you think you're playing at?
This vehicle is definitely not ND's. It belongs to the Echoes. To Tyrell.
I've seen your report on ND technology.
It appears to be based entirely on biological forms. The manipulation of living tissues.
I'm sorry, Dr. Tucker. But we're gonna have to keep you under guard.
General, our tests show Amanda hasn't got an implant. She's seen the NDs at work, and she's the only one who can make the slightest sense of it. We need her.
The General's right. I'm a danger to you all.
I'll stick with her. I'll watch her. No one will be at risk but me.
Well, there's a neurosurgeon inbound to see Burton. She'll see you too. Guard her.
Freddie became a murderer. Who knows what I might turn into?
What are they doing to our people, Helen? You think Tyrell knows?
General, you don't honestly believe he's who he says he is.
No, be nothing. Hold here. Don't shoot!
Is he German?
You killed it. Hand me your firearm, Sergeant.
There may be others in there.
Give it to me!
Sir, there's another.
You men stay here. No, that air might be poisonous too.
Huh?
Inform HQ with casualties to bring back.
Yes, sir. What the hell is it?
Wounded, Sergeant! Get a stretcher! You men help him.
Sir. Yes, sir, Lieutenant Tyrell.
It's all right. It's all right. I want to help.
Major Alex Friedkin, Army Intelligence. A paradox, I know.
Lieutenant Charles Tyrell.
Your orders are to hand these prisoners over to us.
One is dead, one is severely injured. He needs urgent medical care.
This is no job for bomb disposal. Please attend to the casualty, Doctor.
Wait. Out there.
Let the doctor do his job.
Sir, I don't believe these people are Germans. What crashed here is not a legal.
Well, we'll leave the experts to decide upon that, shall we?
Kathy anesthetist, prepare the patient.
Yes, ma'am.
On inspection, no evidence of a foreign body in the right parietal lobe. Let's move on. We may have a long session ahead of us. Who would have thought there'd be so many places to hide in the squattie's brain? At last. A foreign body embedded in the white matter. Less than a millimeter across. I'm going to proceed with excision.
Get out of the car!
I know what this must look like, sir, but there's a perfectly rational explanation.
He must have swapped cars, boss.
Thank you, Tuffley. Remarkably, that startling deduction doesn't escape me.
It could have been worse. We could have shot him.
Small mercies, Tuffley. Ask him for a description of the car that Friday's taken.
The cerebral implant appeared to self-destruct, causing non-survivable injury. I still can't account for how it happened.
It was the NDs.
They pulled it back into their space.
Group Captain Preston, Flight Lieutenant Drake, Dr. Tucker.
Ma'am.
What are the implants for?
The position in the brain suggests they could be used to influence behavior.
Who could have put them there?
It's evidential of a highly sophisticated surgical technique. I don't know of any institution so capable. I doubt I could safely neutralize it. If we find others, our only attainable option is euthanasia.
Thanks, that'll be all, Group Captain.
General, I've been called in personally to deal with a highly irregular case. And with respect, seems to be
We'll
far
fill
more...
you in. Thanks, that'll be all, Group Captain.
General. Dr. Tucker, I believe you're to report to me for medical examination.
There could be something like that inside of me.
The NDs took our people and put things inside their brains. 3 are dead. 1 is a murderer at large. And 1 is a friend of mine. What are they doing to us, Tyrell? Why are you holding out on us? Why? How can anything mean more to you than the future of your own planet? Your own people?
I've never encountered a constellation of deformities such as these. It isn't a human being. Can't you see? You're talking nonsense, man. You'll find every one of these inborn disfigurements in the textbooks.
Most likely the poor chap is an imbecile, plucked from one of their labor camps.
You seriously believe the Luftwaffe would use feeble-minded freaks of nature as pilots?
Of course they're not pilots, they're deadweight. To test whether the V-rocket is capable of carrying pilots.
Then why not use deadweight?
Sir, we can't find no trace of explosives.
Thank you, Graham.
No UXB danger. You and your men should take their leave, Lieutenant.
What do you have there?
It's all private.
Sir, look at this material. It's like nothing else I've ever seen before.
All samples are to be turned over to Army intelligence.
2 men, both with the same deformities. Identical, down to the smallest feature. Flying a rocket vastly more sophisticated than any vehicle we've ever...
Tyrell, enough. The priority is to establish if this is the work of a powered threat to the British Isles in particular and the Allies in general. It's out of my hands,
Let me
Tyrell.
help, sir. I believe I established a rapport with the creature just for a moment. Before the war, I was a Don up at Cambridge.
It really doesn't surprise me in the least. I'll make some representations on our behalf.
Thank you, Major.
I don't want any of that rocket to have gone missing when the inspectors arrived. They're taking souvenirs just to impress the girls in town.
Physical examination is unremarkable. Your blood tests and scans reveal no abnormalities.
I've not got an implant.
There's no evidence of one. The lesion on your arm, I understand it was self-inflicted.
Yes.
Why would you do such a thing?
If they killed me, it was the only means of getting a message out.
They? Why don't you tell me your story?
Read it. It's on file.
I have read it. Would you consent to a psychiatric examination?
If it'll allow me back to work.
Your wound isn't healing yet, though that's not unusual in itself. Nothing else appears to be abnormal. Perhaps you're the lucky one, Dr. Tucker.
Am I free to go back to work?
Conditional upon regular medical examinations, yes.
He's with me.
Who are you?
The name's Helen Knox. I'm squadron leader with this unit. Come with me, Mr. Shay. You're about to see the aircraft whose radio transmission you intercepted. We don't know who's behind it yet. The former Soviet Union's top of my list.
The Russians built this? Yeah, and I'm King Dong.
Our people are studying the avionics, what's left of them. We're having problems. Dr. Tucker tells us you've an uncommon ability in this area.
Our engineers don't understand most of your vehicle's control systems. Will you help?
It wouldn't be help. We'll be putting you in even greater jeopardy than you already face.
One of our men is running amok in the countryside. What's his objective?
I wouldn't know. Nor would I know yours, Dr. Tucker.
The doctors have given her the all clear, Tyrell.
But you were taken by them. Had they no plan for her beforehand, they would have devised one.
What do the NDs use people for? What do they want us for? What do they want me for?
All right. You've already deduced that the ND's powers are limited. They cannot travel here in large numbers, nor can they tolerate our environment for very long. And you've observed that theirs is a culture founded upon the manipulation of living tissues. They have the power to transform living things in any number of ways. That's all we are to them. Instruments to turn to their own ends.
The survivor was brought here 2 weeks after the crash. Interrogation proved futile. The Germans deny any knowledge, but that's hardly surprising.
What kind of sanatorium is this?
One that you should consider yourself privileged even to know about. This is where the high and mighty lock away their accidents of nature. I understand 2 of the current residents are royalty, sisters.
What happened to the dead one?
A post-mortem that baffled all our medics. The remains were cremated.
Nurse? Nurse! Could we have some blankets here, please?
Won't hurt you. It's all right. I shan't hurt you, I promise. You must be scared out of your wits. Do you remember me? My name is Charles Tyrell. Charles. Charles. I shan't hurt you. I promise you solemnly.
I didn't know, sir. The soldiers warned us to keep away from this room. They only let the army nurses in.
They'll let you in from now on. Is that all right?
Yes, sir.
Don't call me sir. My name is Charles.
Louise. Nurse Louise Reynolds. What's our friend's name?
I'm afraid I don't know. Nor did I, should I be able to pronounce it. You see, I believe that he is quite apart from the other residents here. And I intend to prove that he has come to us for a very important reason.
Here's the installation and the staff I've put together. Nobody else knows. We opened fire when they took some of our people. Deposits like this were left behind after they'd gone.
You're not trying to tell me this is their blood?
No.
Flight Lieutenant Stewart?
We've begun analysis on all the recovered samples of ND tissue.
What kind of animal is it?
Mom, it's not an animal.
Let me see.
This isn't a religion. I tolerate heretics.
General, what we have here is nothing that exists on Earth.
We may have already found something, General. The cellular structure is identical in every sample. The NDs are all clones.
What will kill one will kill them all.
Get to work.
General.
All we can safely get is a trickle of current, 20 or 30 amps.
That should activate some avionics. All the other systems will be on repair.
Well, I've been downloading all the programs I could access, and that's precious few. Probably only a fraction of 1% of this pod's capability.
Okay. Ready?
We did it! We got into the flight system. Systems that must be designed to detect their own aircraft. Possibly even pick up ND activity.
Water. Drink. Good.
Earth. Here. The sun, sky.
We failed to trace any of the rocket's components to known manufacturers. Our engineers advise us its design is far beyond anything of which the Allies are capable. And there remains the vexed question of the occupants.
Well, Tyrell has been with the survivor for some time now. Lieutenant Tyrell is a very bright young officer. He taught anthropology at Cambridge.
As you were, Tyrell. Would you kindly wait outside, my dear?
It's all right. No one's going to hurt you.
Lieutenant Tyrell, General Ramsey.
You appear to have developed some rapport with
the visitor, sir.
Visitor.
He looks much healthier, Charles.
What have you learned?
I've been unable to establish a verbal communication. Their language is clearly very different to ours. I wanted to ask your permission for a philologist to be posted here, sir. A philologist, an expert in comparative language, so we shall be able to embark on a study of the visitors' biology and culture.
What have you learned of their military intent?
The visitor himself was unarmed and has at no time demonstrated a propensity for violence. General, this is a remarkable opportunity for cultural exchange. Think how much we can learn if we can communicate. Even send some of our people to live with them.
Look here, Tyrell. Major Friedkin has told me all about your fanciful speculation, men from Mars or some such. Perhaps it's escaped your notice that we are at war with a nation that can rain rocket bombs down on our capital city. If this freak knows nothing of the project that transported him here, that is because not only is he monstrously deformed, but also a congenital imbecile. You have a week to provide us with some answers, and you'll return to bomb disposal. Am I clear, Tyrell?
Perfectly clear, General Ramsey.
Good.
Charles, I couldn't help but overhear.
What's going on? All the systems are down! Keep your eyes open!
Get power back on.
Where? Could be EMP! They're in here! Get down! Down!
Get down! Take cover! Take cover!
Hold your fire!
General?
Auxiliary channels back online.
Power's back up.
Nick, look for any communications traffic.
Listen out on all frequencies. You pick up anything, isolate the bandwidth, and patch it through to me.
What was that?
Do I look like I know?
Satellite surveillance pinpoints the energy release to be 1.5 billion kilometers out from the Earth.
A large enough energy release to light up the sky like a comet.
The NDs look to have unleashed a weapon on a planetary scale. Electromagnetic pulses accompanying a massive attack.
It might be Echo.
Helen, secure this installation.
General?
Dr. Tucker, check out the source of the signal.
They knew the NDs were coming here. If anyone can help us, it's them.
Dr. Tucker!
Sir.
Okay, we have a contact incoming. Contact in the upper atmosphere, sir.
Where from?
Speed it's going, it must be on re-entry.
Or just plain entry?
Identify and acquire.
You heard the general, identify and acquire.
I'm on it.
It doesn't look like ND. Radar detectable, no one-dimensional behavior.
We're getting a bearing.
Dr. Tucker, what are you doing? Trying to prevent a catastrophe.
It's the identifying transmission of an echo escape pod.
You mean that's not a radar contact?
It's not a normal radar signal at all. It's a deliberate attempt to identify itself.
That's what affected all our instruments.
Yes.
Nobody else will be getting this.
So we've got to call this in.
Got it!
Wait.
Here, it's heading here.
If you succeeded in reactivating my escape pod, it will have automatically transmitted a homing signal.
General, we have to report this now. We've got to get our interceptors into the air.
It's the echoes. They're coming here for a reason.
Get a team together.
Ready to receive coordinates. 55, 36, 21 north, 01, 58, 47 west. It's here. It's a lock. Quick! Forward!
Get the helicopter now! Come on!
No pulse.
But it's conscious, it must have. Get a monitorite. There's something here. Rate of about 20.
Charles, help us. Is that good or bad?
Bad. Laceration of the temporal parietal area. No fracture clinically. Blood in the ear canals. Pupils equal.
Blood pressure 80 over unreadable.
I think theirs is normally lower than ours, I'm not sure.
It's sure low now. Some kind of bigeminy?
Tyrell, I'm not a doctor. I don't know enough about it.
Let's get access. Oxygen 15 litres per minute. Atropine 500 mics.
Tyrell, oxygen!
Tyrell!
Yes, they're oxygen breathers.
Loud S1 and 2. Third and fourth sounds. Systolic and diastolic murmurs.
We're in.
I want a 12-lead ECG. X-ray skull, C-spine, chest, abdomen, and pelvis. FBC, U and D glucose cross-match and gases. Contact radiology for an urgent CT.
What are his chances?
It's in a critical condition.
Okay, everybody help out. Any doubts, ask Dr. Preston or Dr. Stewart.
Can you talk to it?
I can. Well, get everything you can out of it. It may not be long.
It's too weak.
Interrogation might be too much.
Do it.
Rate's picking up. 40, 60, 100.
How's that now?
BT.
Some kind of tacky. Pulse is gone.
Is that BF?
Cardiovert.
Setting.
Tyrell.
I don't know.
Starts at 100 joules. Unsynced.
Charging.
Clear. 200.
Charging.
Clear. 300.
Charging.
Clear. We've got a pulse. We need to get it to an intensive care unit.
We need a complete blood analysis and scans of all its major organs.
It's the only way we can attempt to define its anatomy and physiology, otherwise we won't be able to treat its injuries.
I'll get you everything you need. Drink, organize airborne medevac. Dr. Tucker, record the interrogation. I want a videotape for the historical record.
No! Forgive me, my dear friend. Forgive me.
Abducted? Yes, sir. An engineer, a gamekeeper, group of fishermen, a farmer. None of the disappeared has been seen again. Now, each abduction eventuates with a consistent modus operandi. Surrounding objects appear to bend. The victim folds away into invisibility. They can be taken from anywhere, even a locked room with no means in or out. And always coastlines, rivers, reservoirs.
Always water.
Always. Perhaps their own water supply has dried up.
I'll hear no talk of men from space. Is that clear? Is there no actual intelligence as to where they are or why?
Our guest in the country house may know. Now, if Tyrell could make contact with its people...
No! I think it's time that Lieutenant Tyrell returned to his duties. There is a war on, Major.
Someone else is responsible for these abductions.
Charles. Look, it's hard enough to believe in one set of spacemen, let alone war.
If they have the capacity to take our people without our being able to prevent it, then first I should have expected some endeavor to recover their comrade.
Perhaps they simply don't know he's here.
Yes, and perhaps they're able to shed light on these abductions. So it is paramount we establish communication. If I could return with the visitor to his own people, as a cultural attaché, if you will, to learn from them and let them learn from me. Sir, I sincerely believe that I have the power to do our country some good in this matter.
No, I'm sorry, Charles. General Ramsey has made his decision. You'll best serve your country and yourself by keeping your mouth shut and forgetting you ever even met that creature. Charles? You really do think they came from another world, don't you?
The major powers of this Earth are at war. Germans have developed a rocket which in the near future might be capable of journeying out into space. Yes, I imagine these events might be of great interest to otherworldly civilizations.
Otherworldly civilization?
His companions and he came here to make contact, possibly guide us away from this path of war and bloodshed. Fraternization with beings from another Earth is the most important moment in our history. Might be the salvation of a world at war with itself. And look how we've squandered this moment, how we've treated that gentle being. Before I wouldn't speak because I feared endangering the echoes. I feared your knowledge of their existence might be passed on to the NDs.
What were they afraid of?
Themselves?
The explosion we picked up. They detonated their own spacecraft's engines.
Not just that one. Every other craft, every other settlement. The whole civilization.
Why, Charles?
The NDs were turning them into their agents. Like your own people, given brain implants. The Echoes are a highly compassionate race. They would rather lose their own lives than be put to some violent purpose. After a fashion, we might envy my late friend. Do you still study Plato? Only the dead shall see the end of war. Can't imagine how it must feel to be so far from home, be so remote from one's own kind. But there must have been a reason that brought you here, that made sense to you to come all this way. If you were prepared to make such a sacrifice, perhaps one of our kind ought also.
Perhaps when you have leave.
Sit. Look after him.
I will.
They had seen living planets taken throughout the galaxy. They had brought a warning. But we weren't ready to listen.
What was the warning?
The NDs are farmers. They seek out planets with living systems. Their civilization is based upon the manipulation of organic matter. They use the life of a planet as a commodity, a resource, a fuel. Earth was their first contact with intelligent beings. They took some people. They studied them. They devised how they could use this planet with its curious life form. Water.
They put something in the water.
Yes.
So that's it? A cosmic war fought by poisoning the water.
It was more subtle than poison. Female hormones.
Falling sperm counts.
Huh?
Sperm counts have been diminishing for the last 50-odd years. If left unchecked, most men will be infertile by the year 2050. The NDs put estrogenic compounds into the world's waters. We thought it was our own environmental pollution.
So they intend to wipe us all out by making us sterile.
You forget they use living things, they don't destroy them.
They're feminizing us. Gradually, all human beings will be female. In 1944, men would have appeared the sex to eliminate to make us docile.
Sounds like they've still got a lot to learn about women.
And what will they do with us all when we're all female?
I can't say what they mean to do. You may be the first to know.
Yeah. But if their plan was working, if we hadn't got together with the Echoes, why are they back here now?
When I was shot down, the NDs knew that I might pass on the truth to mankind. They failed to capture me before you did. And so now they step up their campaign, and so now they fight even harder to consume the Earth. I'm sorry, Chris, it was you.
So how do we stop them?
They are swallowing planet after planet.
The Echoes are all gone. There must be someone who can help us.
There are no others. Just us. Earth is alone now.
How do we stop them?
They come, they conquer. They can't be stopped.
Amanda, what Tyrell said, he was only guessing. You've been given the all clear by the doctors. Maybe the NDs have spared you. Maybe they've had to change their plans. It's nothing to do with women anymore.
The NDs farm. They feed. And they create offspring. They don't need anyone. They don't feel for anyone. Maybe this is the way to win this war.
I'm opening up this operation for an inspection. Earth stands alone against the Indies. And if I can't convince my superiors, this station stands alone for Earth. They say that history is written by the victors. If they can't be beaten, there might not be a record that man ever even existed.
We've been at war for over 50 years and no one even knew it. If only we'd listened.
Post-mortem examination by Wing Commander Selway, Dr. Chu, Professor Mackenzie. Echo Uniform Oscar. Extraterrestrial of unknown origin. Alleged extraterrestrial. Subject recovered from crashed re-entry vehicle, suffering from cardiorespiratory complications of near drowning. The cause of death, a heavy blow to the head. Subject
Lieutenant Tyrell's ready to be seen by Air Marshal Bentley.
Age indeterminate, with face and habitus resembling pan hypopituitarism.
Yes, thank you.
The body contains multiple deposits of foreign tissue.
It's like the ND samples we've got.
Is that what they did? Began to make the echoes after their own image.
Have you shown this to anyone else?
No.
It's ND tissue.
Maybe the broken skin of her wound was open to infection in the ND environment. It could just be an isolated lesion.
Or it could be the same process we saw in the dead echo.
We'd better call the general.
Not before we have all the facts. Until then, Dr. Tucker is to be accorded the rights of confidentiality we'd give any patient. It's our best sample of their tissue. Enough to test a toxin. I think it's most likely an infected wound.
That's all?
No more serious than an abscess or an ulcer. I think we'll be able to remove it. You'll be called when we're ready for you.
I was taken by them in 1944. Subjectively, I have aged only a little because I have been traveling through space at speeds close to that of light. I have traveled to their nearest colony, some 20 light years from Earth, studied their culture and the language.
What corroborating evidence do you have? Well, photos, film, artifacts. If you visited their planet, didn't you think to bring back any souvenirs?
I never visited their home world. It lies too distant. Some of their crews spend a whole lifetime in space.
I think you should take a look at the sample from Dr. Tucker.
It's decomposed already.
There's no way of getting a toxin.
I need living flesh.
We activated its system for a few seconds, but it started sending out a homing signal, so we moved it here for security.
What definite evidence do you have that this aircraft is extraterrestrial in origin?
Well, its flight systems are a hell of a lot more advanced than anything we've got. I mean, we can't even figure out what it's made of, but look at it.
Well, what I'm looking at is the likelihood that one of our rivals has a sophisticated new weapon, and that NATO has charged you with making an assessment of this new weapon's capabilities.
Sir, what we're looking at is far bigger.
Look, David, we have no knowledge of other worlds, but we do know about enemies right here on Earth. And we don't know about alien races, but we do know about human deformities. And now we're told that these aliens, these echoes, no longer exist. But instead the threat comes from the mystical NDs, the only evidence of which is a handful of yellow slime. Now what you've got, David, is a dead freak, a living lunatic, and a bit of mangled metal. And I, for one, think that quite searching questions are going to be asked about how Major General Reece is running this operation. I mean, about what exactly he's doing with the taxpayers' money.
With respect, sir, 3 eminent pathologists are about to conclude that that freak isn't human.
Drake!
And our own expert has said the yellow slime comes from no creature known on Earth.
That's enough.
And we all have enough flying hours between us to realize this vehicle isn't just some secret prototype.
You said your piece, Drake.
I'll arrange transport when you're ready to leave, sir.
Yeah, fine. Thanks, Helen.
So what's everybody else doing?
Well, we're covering our own airspace, looking at all places you'd expect. Satellite reconnaissance of our enemy's flight test facilities, so yeah.
Any leads?
No. Look, David, your brief was to study the aircraft, no more. Other departments should be dealing with all this other stuff, not you.
You want me to hand everything over so it gets spread across 15 different commands, all with their heads
Look,
up their
David, if you don't stop...
I won't. I can't.
It could be your career.
Well, I'm not going to put that ahead of my duty to defend us from this threat. I won't. I mean, this is happening.
So prove it. Make us all sit up and take notice. Give us something no one can argue with.
Everyone's after proof. Well, there's only one way to get it. We have to capture one of the bastards.
But we don't know who they are, where they are.
So we bring them here.
No matter who or what they are, we're still breaching our own security.
I know the risks.
Sir, it's putting the station and our staff in needless jeopardy.
My responsibility.
Sir, why can't you let this go?
If I screw up, you'll get your shot. Until then, it's my call.
You must be out of your mind. You'll be like lambs to the slaughter.
They have weaknesses. If we trap one, we'll be able to find ways to kill them in large enough numbers.
Large enough numbers.
To win. Your army file still has you charged with desertion. You were away 50 years. 50 years in which the NDs plotted against us and you knew about it and did nothing. Did it really take you that long to work out the Echo's formula for lasting peace and harmony? Or was it another example of you having no stomach for battle?
I returned when it was my time to help. And you attacked me without provocation and sent me crashing into this war, which you have brought upon yourselves. You've learned nothing in that time, nothing!
Then help us, Charles. Help us survive so we can have peace someday. Help me make up for my mistake.
This is madness. We can't win! They will come here, and they will take every man, woman, and child in this installation.
Mom?
There's some process occurring in Amanda Tucker. There's foreign tissue forming in her body.
What's happening to her?
I need to study her.
She ought to be confined.
And I'd respectfully point out that when the other abductees proved to be security risks, all were confined apart from her.
General Reece felt our contribution to the project was too valuable to be lost.
You and I may dispute the nature of our enemy, but we are in complete agreement. The enormous security risk it is to lure them here, even more so with someone on the loose who could be connected to them.
Why not take this straight to the General?
If this attempt goes wrong, it's plain to me that this will be your command, not his.
I'd like to speak to Detective Sergeant Holland, please.
Yeah?
I'd like to talk to Detective Sergeant Holland, please.
Speaking.
I wasn't expecting a
what?
a clangingly embarrassing start to this conversation.
How are you feeling?
Fine.
Good. Dr. Tucker, it would be best all round if you voluntarily removed yourself from duty and handed yourself over to the medics.
The thing's been taken away. You said I'd be clear now.
For the moment. In view of our experience with Friday and the others, I have reservations about your remaining a participant in this operation.
Pass your concerns on to General Reece. He still gives the orders around here, doesn't he?
Amanda, show some sense. This is a highly sensitive project already in some jeopardy.
I solve problems. I don't create them.
Is that really the case? Haven't you continually drawn conclusions which only serve to justify your role here?
Facts have led me to those conclusions.
The ideas you've put in General Reece's head have made him seriously neglect the security of this operation. Perhaps your connection with our enemy is more than simply a belief in their existence.
I doubt right now the NDs are bickering among themselves. It's not me you should be scared of, it's them. Now I'm going to go back to work and try and stop them destroying us. I suggest you do the same.
Where's that cup of tea, Ron? I don't run on air.
The instrumentation's here, all we need. We can put out a signal to attract them.
Why would we be doing that?
We're gonna catch ourselves an ND.
This isn't dangerous by any chance, is it?
Walk in the park, thanks.
Jurassic Park. How are you feeling?
Better. A lot better.
Generate! Wait! Down! Bring it down! Come on!
I'm opening the ventral panel.
Careful.
It's okay. I'm sorry, Dr. Vickers, but
What?
it's...
Another one? Okay, ask them to come in. Miss Merchant. It's unusual to see you here.
I know, Doctor. I just don't feel myself for some reason.
It seems there's some kind of bug going round. I doubt it's anything to worry about. No fever.
That's good news.
I'm not sure why you might appear so flushed. Still, most likely it's food poisoning. Have you eaten out recently?
Chance would be a fine thing.
Clear fluids only. I'll write you a prescription for the diarrhea. Most probably it'll clear up in a few days.
Now what?
Air Marshal Bentley. He doesn't believe. No one believes. We're the only ones that can stop them, but we need your help, Charles.
You've all heard my answer.
You can't give in like this. You gave up your life to giving us lasting peace. You know the NDs will never let us have that. We have to fight back.
And afterwards? Suppose man has survived. Who then saves him from himself?
I know more than anyone what the NDs are capable of. But I believe we can win. I believe for my sake, for your sake, for the sake of my daughter. Please, Charles, help us.
Amanda, we can't beat them.
It was ND tissue. Inside me. We don't know how or why it got there. Maybe the only chance I've got of finding out is if we can study an ND. Find out what their tissue is capable of. You said they use living things as instruments for their plans. It might be the only chance of stopping what they've got in store for me. Please, Charles.
Go!
Go again. I want under 10.
The cage is in the drop alignment. The tension is monitored by strain gauges. We've got 2 machine gun emplacements. There's a transmitter lead in the cage giving a false point of origin. The NDs will arrive there instead of over there.
When an ND emerges from the portal, we'll rapidly relocate it, leaving it stranded, and I'm able to return before the portal closes.
The ND will be interred in the isolation chamber. Right, take it back up.
But we've seen NDs pass through walls.
We're assuming away from their portals they're three-dimensional creatures like us.
Once cut off from the portal, it'll be helpless.
It's only an assumption.
It's a very sound one, given all we know so far about the NDs.
Well, there's a chance we've got to take.
All phenomena will be recorded. Light, sound, all basic energy emissions. We don't have the equipment to pick up more esoteric particles.
Okay, I want a couple other men put on door D.
I was thinking we'd start by putting out a series of mathematical expressions to show we're an intelligent source.
Nick, we're just putting out a signal, not a message.
I should simulate a transmission I might have made to the Echoes. Were they still alive?
We'll vary the output characteristics. Then the NDs won't be able to jam the signal. They'll have to come here.
How long before you're ready?
When you give the order, sir.
Consider it given. Make your first transmission in 30 minutes precisely.
Team 1. Team 2. Team 3. Team 4. All teams report in position, sir.
Shut off, Hager.
Lock it off.
Clear from cage.
Right, clear away from the cage.
We can handle them if they come, right?
Transmit.
Transmitting now.
Transmit.
Transmitting again.
I'm going to drop us down in frequency.
Transmit.
Taking us back up in frequency.
Don't say it.
We've not even picked up an attempt by them to jam the signal. It's like they're not even interested.
Maybe it's the transmission itself. We're not saying anything they don't already know.
They know you have my escape vehicle. Perhaps they consider you're merely experimenting with it. What would be of far greater interest to them is definite proof I'm here.
Charles, we've already said we might try and take you.
It's got to be your decision. We want to transmit again. This time, Tyrell's going to identify himself.
Helen, put another squad of soldiers outside the doors.
Yes, General.
What if she's been right all along?
No. They're out there. They'll come.
Ready to transmit.
Transmit.
Transmitting again.
Again. Same transmission. No change in setting.
General, the NDs are...
They're coming. Contact incoming. Hold fire.
Await orders.
Go! Drop the kite!
No! Kill me! Kill me! I know too much! Kill me!
Someone, you've got any casualties!
We put this behind us. We start again in the morning.
Amanda,
I made a call and it was wrong. 3 of my men are dead. If you want to send in a report, Helen, I guess I have no right standing in your way.
Sorry, that's the only footage that survived.
Did you make other recordings?
Of energy emissions and so on, but they're meaningless as far as depicting the ND. But enough data has survived to be able to build up a picture of how one of their portals forms.
Enough to detect an ND portal before it appears?
Well, that'd be helpful. No point in producing a detector that tells you something's happened after it's happened. Like being clairvoyant in reverse, and that's actually just being normal.
Can you do it?
I can give it a try.
Great work.
Hello? I'll pop back. All right, fine. Yes, I need to speak to the Director of Public Health at once. Yes, I wish to report a disease outbreak, probably food poisoning. Abdominal pain, diarrhea, weight loss. Patients are flushed and tachycardic. Some have low blood pressure. I'd like assistance. I hear you've got one for me.
They're calling it the vampire slaying. Looks like he's been under a day or so. The body's not exactly fragrant.
What are those things in his face?
Do I ask you how to beat a confession out of a suspect?
The soft tissues of the cubital fossa have been carefully dissected. The brachial artery has been opened with surgical precision. Now, from the angle of incision, I'd say the wound was self-inflicted. Fairly standard for a vampire sling.
Thank you.
The scans all show changes in the structure of her internal organs. The blood tests are wildly abnormal.
This isn't unexpected. We'll repeat the tests in a few days' time.
Ma'am, with respect, we can't just do nothing.
We're not doing nothing. We're scrutinizing a new phenomenon, observing its progress, anticipating its outcome. Meanwhile, we're exploiting this opportunity of manufacturing our best hope of defeating the NDs. Our efforts have been frustrated by the lack of living ND flesh. It would appear that's about to change. We're officers first, scientists second, doctors third. If you are unable to handle the exigencies of our situation, Flight Lieutenant, I suggest you put in for a transfer. Leave these with me. Discuss them with no one.
Does this mean she'll go away Friday?
Possibly.
But Friday had a brain implant. We know that Tucker doesn't.
These internal changes may go on to affect her mental state.
We need her, now more than ever. Group Captain Preston will perform regular physicals. That's all.
Yes, sir.
Now that I've seen them for myself, it may not mean much, sir, but we're all in this together.
Thanks, Helen. That means a lot.
With the data recorded in the hangar, plus the surviving equipment from Tyrell's escape pod, I think it's going to be possible to rig up a detector.
Well, if we can detect them now, we can get a jump on the next move.
They found Friday. He's dead.
Where?
Kirkhaven, small town, 50 miles.
Get out there, Jim.
Sir.
Why? Why would it grow back? Why?
I can only give an example of another condition. There's a disease called sarcoidosis. It resembles TB in that it affects the lungs and the internal organs, but it has a curious feature. If a patient has an old scar on his or her skin, sometimes sarcoid tissue appears in the scar. Perhaps this is a similar phenomenon.
It's an outward sign. There's flesh like that inside me.
I can't say how far the metamorphosis is going to progress. Indeed, it might have reached its final stage already.
You can see what this looks like. It could go that far, couldn't it? I could become one of them.
No one can say.
I could become one of them, couldn't I? Couldn't I?
Invasion Earth continues next Friday, 9:30 BBC One.